What's up, YouTube? This is Too Raw for TV. Alright, so before I get into this video, I want to give a shout out to the brother Claiborne Bell for the $12 donation via the PayPal. I seen your note, and I'm glad you liked the MASH video I did with Kawhi. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he's a walking MASH unit at this point, man. You know, and I knew this was going to happen, man. I just knew with these guys' history that you can't trust them to when I say they, I'm talking about Kawhi Leonard and Paul George. It's a championship opportunity, but these guys, their bodies have shown that they can't handle the rigors of an NBA season anymore, especially Kawhi Leonard. You know, at least with Paul George, these are like freak injuries or whatever. I can't even say freak, but unfortunate injuries. With Kawhi, it's just a matter of he can't physically play a season. And at this point, if you can't be available for the playoffs after you load manage the way you do, and then when you had to play a back-to-back, it's affecting you that much. I'm talking about the playing, I think, tournament was when they had to play back-to-back, or was it, I know recently you had to play back-to-backs. If that's affecting you that much, then maybe you should consider retirement. Yeah, I'm sorry, but that's ridiculous. Anyway, Game 3 was played last night between the first-seeded Denver Nuggets of the Western Conference and the eighth-seeded Minnesota Timberwolves. Now, this is a series that I thought, if everything came together for Minnesota, I thought Minnesota could potentially win this series. I think my prediction was Minnesota in 6. That's going to be extraordinarily wrong. All right, that's going to be a horribly wrong prediction for me. And in the first quarter of this game, for the first time, Minnesota came out with some life. Karl Anthony Towns came out with some life, especially I think in the second quarter. But the Timberwolves came out with some life for once in this series, and it looked like, you know, they were going to take control, or at least they were trying to take control of the game, at least get back into the series. But Denver came back and matched their energy, came back and matched their firepower, and I think at the end of the first quarter, after some timely threes by the Denver Nuggets, the game was tied at 28. And during the second quarter, Minnesota tried to once again regain the edge, but it was actually Denver that had the lead at halftime. And for the most part, for most of the game, man, they were trading buckets. But for the most part, going into the second half, it was the Nuggets that had the consistent lead. And ultimately, Denver just was too much for the Minnesota Timberwolves, and they came away with the 120 to 111 victory, and they now have a commanding 3-0 lead in this best-of-5 series. And Denver, in Game 4, will be going for their first ever franchise series sweep of any team. Nikola Jokic had a triple-double, 20 points, 9 of 13 shooting, 2 of 3 from three-point range, 11 rebounds, and 12 assists. Michael Porter Jr. Led the team with 25 points, 10 of 17 shooting, 4 of 8 from three-point range, and 9 rebounds. Jamal Murray had 18 points after his 40-point game. In Game 2, he had 18, 7 of 16 shooting. KCP, 14 points, 3 of 6 from three-point range. Bruce Brown, 12 points on 6 of 8 shooting. Aaron Gordon, 14 points, 4 of 7. For the Minnesota Timberwolves, Karl Anthony Towns, 27 points and 7 rebounds. Still, he only took 17 shots. I say only because I just think for the Timberwolves to have a chance in this series, I thought Karl Anthony Towns got to take at least 20 shots a game, and he's not really doing that. Yeah, he was more efficient this time, but he still only took 17 shots. I don't understand why he's not being even more aggressive offensively, but it is what it is. Anthony Edwards had 36 points. This coming off of his 41-point game in Game 2. 10 of 22 shooting, although only 3 of 11 from downtown. Rudy Gobert, 18 points, 10 rebounds. But, for the price they paid for Rudy Gobert, man, you just got to be putting up Olajuwon type numbers. Michael Conley, 12 points. One of the problems, too, with the Timberwolves, man, their bench is trash. It's trash. I mean, outside of outside of Cat and Edwards, where's the consistent scoring coming from? I mean, sometimes Conley can give you a 20-point game, maybe 25, but where's the scoring coming from? And when you think about it, this is a team that does miss a guy like D'Lo when it comes to scoring, even though his playoff performances have been subpar, but he's still a guy that can potentially, I say potentially, get you 30 to 40 points in a game. Potentially. But consistently 20 to 25. So this Timberwolves team did not live up to expectations at all. And this series to me is a wrap. It's a wrap. But anyway, tell me what you guys think.